Fault-Carolyn Ellis from BrillianceMastery.com, and I want to welcome you to my very first episode of Brilliance Mastery TV. In this episode, I'm going to share with you this week's Bits of Brilliance. Now, my Bits of Brilliance, for those of you who are already on my e-zine list, you'll know that this is usually my article that I write, where I offer some small little principle and an action step that you can take this week to make it real in your life. Because I believe that information without action, interesting, but it's kind of useless. So I'm all about getting things really practical and real so that you can take action on it. So as this is my first episode, I do welcome your comments. You can email me at support@brilliancemastery.com, or please go to my blog at brilliancemastery.com and just write a little comment in there. That would be awesome. And I may, be flubbering around a little bit with my papers and things here as I find my way to connect with you through this new technology of live streaming. So that being said, let's just dive into the bits of brilliance for today. And the topic I came up with, it's really kind of top of mind for me, I will confess, is it's not your fault. 3 reasons business owners are wired for overwhelm. And why this has been a bit top of mind for myself lately is in the last few months, I have been, running my business here at home in the midst of pretty much chaos. I've written a bit about it, but my house has been undergoing seemingly a series of sequential, absolutely necessary kind of renovations, starting with a leaking basement and then a leaking roof and then a lot of ancillary problems. And so it's just like one little example of how do we, as a brilliant entrepreneur who has a big vision and wants to make a big difference in the world, keep ourselves in business while we're navigating in the midst of a lot of chaos, overwhelm, and distraction. And one thing I like to write about and support my clients with is a phenomenon I call spiritual overload syndrome, SOS, where there's just so many interesting, cool things that are out there to do, neat possibilities that we can see with our clients, with our businesses, with our networking, with our colleagues, with our personal leadership development, all of that. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're feeling really busy, but did you bring in some more money in your business? Did you get some more clients? Did you expand your vision and your influence in the world in some meaningful way? Sometimes not. So getting stuck in this sense of overwhelm and distraction is something that I know is very common among my clients. And I wanted to let you know today, I think there are 3 main causes for this. Now, I want to share with you, I'm a big reader, and I just found a really fascinating book I want to recommend to you. It's called Abundance. The Future is Better Than You Think, and it's by a gentleman named Peter Diamandis, and Stephen Kotler co-wrote it with him. And there was some really fascinating information in there that really speaks to some of the changes, the structural changes that are going on in the world and what it means for us as individuals, what it means for us as business owners. So one of the causes of overwhelm and distraction is obviously information overload. There is so much information. I mean, you can Google anything in the world that you want to and have an answer just like that. Something that wasn't even possible just 5-10 years ago. And now this book gave me some mind-blowing statistics about how much information is out there. So get ready for this. In 2003, okay, from the beginning of time until 2003, mankind generated 5 exabytes of information, okay? So 1 exabyte of information is equal to 1 billion gigabytes, okay? Now, how much is a gigabyte? I couldn't even fit it all onto one page. It's a 1 with 18, see, yeah, there you go. 1 with 18 zeros next to it. So again, from the beginning of time until 2003, we generated 5 exabytes of information. In 2010, mankind generates 5 exabytes of information every 2 days. Okay, so isn't that an amazing, mind-boggling amount of acceleration, okay? But wait until 2013. That is apparently when mankind is going to be generating 5 exabytes of data in 10 minutes. So with that amount of information, and everything is energy, so this is like all like being bombarded around us, is it any wonder that you might be feeling a little bit overwhelmed sometimes? I don't think so. So it's not your fault. Okay, so that's reason number one. Huge explosion in the amount of information and our ability to access that information. It becomes very confusing what to do, what not to do. How do you navigate through that? Okay, second reason. Our brain, our brain has this beautiful thing called the amygdala, which is like the very oldest part of the brain that used to be really helpful when we lived in the time of saber-toothed tigers. It is programmed to scan for danger, scan for potential threats, identify them, and protect you by either fight or flight, or even freeze. But the amygdala is a really old part of the brain, and it is still operating, okay? And when that is in full operation, it kind of blocks off our ability to access our prefrontal cortex, which is the more recent part of how our brain developed, where we have our higher reasoning function, where we access our creativity, problem-solving skills. That's where our empathy and compassion, we can access that. So when we're in this state of, okay, remember, we've got this huge like tsunami of information coming at us literally every minute of our lives, 24/7. Our amygdala is going, holy smokes, what's all in all of that stuff, and how do I sort and protect me from all of that? And it kind of shuts off our ability to really think outside of the box all the time. So it's not a natural thing. So our brain is amazing, but it developed and evolved in a time that was far simpler, far more local, far more linear than the times that we live in now, where an idea can go viral and go around the globe and open up a completely new possibility in literally a nanosecond. So our brain is wonderful, but it's a little bit of an outdated tool. So that's reason number two, that you might be feeling some sense of overwhelm, and it's not your fault. Okay, and reason number three is what I call there's an action imperative. So we have all of this stuff happening in our lives. As business owners, we are trying to come up with our strategic plans. We're trying to find our clients, do a great job with our clients, develop partnerships, set our new programs in place, price ourselves accordingly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's all about doing, taking action. That's how we find a sense of being in charge, or hopefully having some sense of power in a world that can feel very overwhelming. We can feel very insignificant in the scope of some of the issues and problems that the world faces. So this action imperative has us looking outward and trying to take action out in the outer world, and we forget about what's happening inside here, which is where our heart and our soul speak to us. So those three things, huge information overload, beautiful yet slightly outdated and limiting brain development, and an action imperative where we may not actually know what we're acting on. We're acting out of choices that are, 5 years out of date, 5 weeks out of date, sometimes just won't be having us at that cutting edge that we want to be at. And you put those things together, and this is why I say it's not your fault that you might be feeling some level of overwhelm as running your business, as a leader of your business. So what do you do about that? Well, I'm going to be sharing more solutions with you in upcoming episodes. However, what I want to start you with is a way to start to reclaim some of that sense of your own sanity, calm, and brilliance. And so my invitation for you this week to step into your brilliance is to take 15 minutes of silence. Okay, 15 minutes of quiet time every day for the next 7 days. So what you do in those 15 minutes, it's completely up to you. You might want to meditate, you may want to journal, you may want to go for a walk, play with your dog, something where you are giving yourself that opportunity to be reflective, be contemplative, go inside and reconnect to your heart's desire, reconnect to that sense of why are you creating this business in the first place, and just be in that stillness within you and let that be your anchor in the midst of this raging, exciting, and sometimes very overwhelming external storm and world that we live in. So I hope that you will take that action step. I would love for you to share with me what you notice about that as a comment on my blog at brilliancemastery.com. Notice, did you do it? Did you resist doing it? Did it get maybe a little easier as you did it from one day to the next? Whatever your experience is, I invite you to share that with me. Your 15 minutes of quiet time just for you every day for the next 7 days. So until next time, this is Carolyn Ellis from Brilliance Mastery signing off. And here's to unleashing your brilliance in the world.